I'm the Red Baron, and here we have Jonathan from Decred.
Jay-Z, aka Decred Jesus.
Yeah, Decred Jesus! The second coming. That's the sequel. Tell us a little bit about Decred.
Sure. Decred's hybrid proof of stake, proof of work. We're all about pretty much blockchain governance.
Yep.
So what we're doing a little bit different is we put the stakeholders, and by that I mean the people who actually own the coins, in control of governance. They're the ones who are going to decide what features we have and where we take the project long term.
Cool. So what does that look like in kind of the real world?
So the interesting thing about it is it leads to being able to actually figure out what people want. Since we have a method of voting and we can actually poll our users and it's cryptographically secure, we don't have these vague debates, on-chain scaling, off-chain scaling. We can actually do both, A lot of people aren't ideological about this kind of stuff. So it gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of that.
You're right. So I'm also hearing kind of the way my mind's playing it out is like, if you've got a better system for governance, you can apply that to an organization where they're like, how are we going to make decisions together? Is that kind of one of the ways you could use it?
That's exactly it. It's decisions being made by groups and conflict resolutions on a blockchain. And that lets us do cool things like get Lightning Network, add privacy features, all sorts of things that with other coins might be contentious.
Okay, so I can make this sweet decentralized decision-making process on-chain. It's all recorded, perhaps even private from other decision-making bodies for the purpose of my organization. Is that something it could do, or you've got a curious look on your face?
Our stuff is all public.
Yes.
The curious look is because the evolution of this will essentially mean other people being able to leverage our platform and create their own organizations based on it.
Right.
Not necessarily with that kind of transparency, but having the ability to find out what the people that your stakeholders would want.
So you're creating this new organization using Decred. What would be kind of the end user benefit beyond like, I'm not phrasing this very well, because I'm super interested in governance. I live in the Middle East at the moment. I've said this in a few interviews because it's a very fascinating place, but governance is a massive issue there. Like corruption can be a big deal in some places. You've got refugee crises, all that kind of stuff. What kind of applications could you have if I said, look, I'm an NGO, how can Decred help me?
Sure. Well, from an NGO perspective, if you were to raise money theoretically and have a decentralized autonomous entity doing it in Decred, you could then have those people who are donating that money create a schedule for you based on how they're going to pay it out.
Wow, yeah.
And be able to hold it back if you were not doing what your stated intention was, right? So instead of having a bunch of money just dumped on you and then you having carte blanche to do whatever you want with it, there'd be responsibilities attached to that.
That's amazing. That's super interesting. And so if we can build out from there, we've got governance. Can you see Decred having like some kind of an app plug-in using the utility of another blockchain? And what would that look like?
That's a really interesting question because we don't have anything like that right now, but the way our model is that it's extremely extensible. So if the stakeholders want something like that and someone builds that code, we can activate that very easily.
Right. So it's more about having the framework for including any idea. And yeah.
A very rich, robust marketplace of ideas, and we think the best ones are going to rise to the top, and the stakeholders are going to decide what Decred becomes. So when people ask me, like, what's the vision for the next 5 years of Decred, the answer is we really don't know. It's all these people out there who hold Decred who are going to make that decision.
That's a fascinating idea because on the other end you've got all these blockchains that are coming at it from the kind of product perspective, but they don't necessarily know how to work together or make decisions, which is actually a fundamental process for any organization.
It's the most important part. And the thing about governance is if you don't build it into the foundation, you can't shoehorn it in later. Once you have a benevolent dictator installed and entrenched interests, If you don't have it from the beginning, by the time you realize you need it, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's really fascinating. I'm super interested to see, once we hopefully provide you with interoperability, what kind of decisions your group is going to make, or any group using Decred, kind of apps that they can build on top of that. So, Jay-Z, I don't want to keep too much of your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Is there any other things you want to say?
I'd just like to tell people we're about to launch our proposal system, Politia, where developers will be able to come, tell us what they want to do. Not just people who develop, though, also people who, work on graphics, people who work on marketing, all sorts of skills. They'll be able to get paid in Decred and work for us because it's really a decentralized organization.
Awesome. It's good to be a friend. Thanks, Jay-Z.
Take it easy.
Okay.